And so this is a time of really looking inward, really thinking, okay, what is serving me in this current moment and what is not? And for some of you, this keeps kind of popping up for me. I feel like a lot of us out there are in the process or in the time of creation and creating either a business or creating something for ourselves that will help and serve community and the collective members. And this is a really beautiful time to really lean into that and run with it. What if I told you that you have extraordinary, one-of-a-kind gifts just waiting to be uncovered? I'm Claire Kellums, psychic medium, intuitive guide, and animal communicator, and I'm here to share my personal journey of spiritual growth and healing in the hope that my true lived experiences will ignite something inside you, empowering you to embrace your truest, most aligned self. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into all things spiritual development, manifestation, breaking generational cycles, aligning your life with limitless abundance, and so much more. I am beyond excited to go on this transformative journey with you and witness your growth as you expand into the person you were always destined to be. I wasn't put on this earth to play small, and neither were you. Are you ready? Let's get aligned. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If this is your first episode, welcome to the podcast. If you are returning and this is your now fourth episode, welcome back. And I'm glad to have you guys back. I'm actually very happy to be back in my house. We had to leave because of the floodwaters. Thankfully, our house was high enough in elevation that the water couldn't reach it, but the roads around us were unfortunately flooded. So we had to leave. My husband actually stayed with a little John boat in case he had to get out, but someone had to stay with our animals. So Kane was the willing participant. I think he enjoyed his vacation, honestly. I think that was probably a nice, relaxing weekend for Kane. But my son and I, we left and we went to my grandparents' house actually. So it's been an eventful week, to say the least. But on today's episode, I actually wanted to do something a little different. One of the mediums that I follow pretty closely, her name is, it's the Squamish medium, Danielle Sarank. She does spirit messages occasionally on her podcast, and that's something I really have always enjoyed of hers. And that's something I wanted to integrate kind of into this podcast, maybe a little different, but we'll just see how it goes. So some of you may or may not know, today's the day. Oh my gosh. Today's the day we are having our full moon in Libra. And this is really centered around relationships and what relationships are benefiting you, what relationships may not be benefiting you, but also the relationship you have with yourself too. So what are you doing in your day-to-day life that may be benefiting you? What may be draining you? What may be bringing you happiness and joy and love? What may be making you frustrated? All the things. So really taking a deep dive and looking into our relationships all around us, even relationships with animals, relationships with nature, relationships with really anything. Sometimes I will forget to really pay attention to the relationships around me, and I start to get frustrated or I start to get drained really easily. And I have to take a minute to sit back and be like, okay, like what's going on around me? And usually it's a disconnect somewhere. I actually had a really perfect example of this not long ago. I was getting really almost depressed and really upset. Nothing was clicking. Everything was just really frustrating. And I was just getting really, really sad, out of nowhere. And it took me a while to realize that I hadn't spent any time with our horses, my horses recently. And it clicked, and I was so upset that I hadn't been spending time with them that I usually do. And so these past couple of weeks, I've really been reconnecting with the horses and with the animals outside. And, it's springtime too. So it's also warming up and it's nicer to be outside. So that reconnection with the horses, with nature, with everything has really been everything I needed, essentially. So it's, even that alone has helped relationships with Kane, with my son, with family members, with everything. So taking a close look at the relationships around you right now may be very beneficial for you. Even the ones you didn't think you needed to look at, like relationships with parents or siblings, or again, with yourself, anyone really. It's really important just to kind of take a step back, observe everything around you, and, just feel into how certain things make you feel. And this is also, this energy right now, just as a whole, we're coming out of that eclipse season, we're into spring, everything's becoming, new and fresh and vibrant, we're getting leaves on the trees. And so this is one of those times that's a really big change for all of us. And I think we're all feeling that change, especially right now. When you are in this more, or on this more spiritual development journey, or honestly, when you're just out in nature, you start to notice that there's a lot more change going on than you realize. And if you're someone who doesn't like change, that might be a good start for you to get out in nature and to really look at how the trees change, how flowers bloom, and how, everything around us changes constantly. We just sometimes don't pay attention to it. That's something that I really had to focus a lot of my time and energy on, is the change that is constantly occurring around me, because I really wanted things done a certain way at a certain time, at a certain moment. And really, everything's just changing and shifting constantly, and finding that flow and finding that rhythm of just going with the change, it really is and can be so beneficial, especially if you're someone who is very cyclical, and sometimes you need a little bit of something different, a little different scenery, a little different this, a little different that. Finding that rhythm and finding that season of change for yourself is really important. And just to being open and being willing to flow in that season of change, it's very important. So I am using oracle cards today. I'm actually using, it's the Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. And if you're not familiar with it, it's like all pink. And so I chose it because of the pink full moon that we're having, or that we had. And I just felt called to it. So that's the one that we're using today. And it's actually really funny because a lot of it, almost every single card that I have pulled, has to do with change and with accepting yourself as you are and embracing the change and allowing things to go maybe the way that you're, how am I trying to word this? Let it go in the way that it's meant to go. Don't try to force it. So I'm going to go ahead and start here with one of the cards. It's called the Great Mother. And this card is all about surrendering and falling into the mystery of life and falling into the things around us that we want to control, but we can't. So, allowing yourself to just open up and just open yourself to life, into the day, into everything, and just allow what comes through to come through, and allow what happens to happen. So if you're driving your car and someone cuts you off, I get pretty bad road rage. So, just allow it to happen, and just allow it to happen. It happened, and just let it go. Because honestly, in the grander scheme of things, what's that really affecting your day? Like, someone cut you off. Yeah, it probably affected your moment, your day for 15 seconds. Just let it go and just allow the day to unfold however it unfolds. And I know that can be hard to hear for some. It was definitely hard for me to hear in the beginning, but just let it unfold the way it unfolds. So this card pull is based mostly around the month of April into May, but kind of more like the spring season as a whole, but really focusing on this time currently right now. And the cards that I pulled today really symbolize taking the time to look inward at yourself and what you truly want to create, what magic you want to create. This could be a time right now that you are thinking about starting something new, or hear me out, leaving something behind, like a job or a relationship that no longer suits you. And so this is a time of really looking inward, really thinking, okay, what is serving me in this current moment and what is not? And for some of you, this keeps kind of popping up for me. I feel like a lot of us out there are in the process or in the time of creation and creating either a business or creating something for ourselves that will help and serve community and the collective members. And this is a really beautiful time to really lean into that and really run with it. I feel like we're going to get really creative in this season and really find what we specifically can bring to the table, essentially, what we can offer to other people and to other, members of the community and to nature and other things like this. So really honing in on that specific thing that we are wanting to create and that we are wanting to do. So it might be that you're about to offer a new service for your business. Really take the time to get clear on what you want to offer and those fine details that go into that service, and really spend time just in the energy of that service or that offering, whatever it is that you're wanting to put out there, and put a lot of energy into it, but a lot of positive energy. Don't go into it like, oh my gosh, I hope this works. I hope this works. Go into it just knowing it's going to work. Go into it knowing it's going to work, and put all of your energy and all your positive energy and set really positive intentions around whatever you are doing, whatever you are creating, because it will work because it's your unique signature. And maybe it doesn't reach the audience that you're wanting it to reach. Maybe it only reaches 2 people and you wanted it to reach 2,000 people. Don't look at it as I have failed. Look at it as I have reached the people that I need to reach, and then fine tune it from there. Maybe there's something in there that you didn't see before that you're like, oh, I didn't really want to put that in there. Don't be afraid to fine tune things to your unique DNA, essentially, and really put all of yourself behind that creation. This is something that's really, really powerful, especially right now during spring, because, it's a new season. It's essentially, everybody looks at January 1st as the new year, but really springtime is the new year of the year, kind of, if that makes sense. Everything's coming back. Everything's alive again and green. So really focus on whatever that is that you are wanting to create right now, and don't be afraid to just go with it. Don't worry about, this is kind of a perfect example for me. Don't worry about recording that podcast episode 150 times. Record it once, say what you need to say, and be really clear and intentional about your message. And the universe has a very, very funny way and a very creative way of backing you with the things that you are trying to create and you're trying to put out there. So something I've had to really change my perspective on is kind of like I said earlier, the people that you are meant to reach, you will reach. It might be that it takes some people a little bit longer to reach that audience, and some might reach it instantaneously. But you will, and you are going to reach the audience that you are meant to reach. And that is really important to remember and to really take that home and take that into consideration. And now, literally every single one of these cards, I'm laughing, is all about the creation and being a leader and being empowered in this time. And everything's like creations realize this is the right time, go now. So there's a lot of beautiful energy right now around launching that course you want to launch, leaving that job for that dream job you've always wanted, starting or ending that relationship that's not serving you, getting into that relationship that you kind of like that person, but you're not really sure if it's the time. Really lean into what feels right to you right now. And one of the cards that I have here, it's called Release the Petals, and it's transformation, death and rebirth, shedding, all change. And this is really beautiful, especially going into spring right now, the death and rebirth. And this doesn't necessarily mean like death of a person, death of, a family member, anything like that. It's really the quote unquote death or the shedding of the person that you no longer are and that you no longer feel that you are. This is really powerful for me, especially at this moment, is leaving the old ways of my thinking behind and really stepping into this new light of mine. I've been doing a lot of self-healing and really taking the time to focus on relationships in my own way and how I see certain people, the perspective around certain people and friends, family, whomever, and really stepping back and thinking to myself, they are having their own human experience right now, and their opinions are theirs to have, and they don't have to be my opinions. And their way of thinking and the way that they speak and the way that they say certain things or pass certain judgments or whatever it may be, those do not directly reflect me at all. I used to think that they did, and it really, really bothered me when people would say certain things to me or pass judgment or say, "Oh, you can't do that. You'll never make that kind of money." That can be their opinion, that can be their way of thinking, but there is literally no one in the entire universe who says that I can't do XYZ or I can't make a certain amount of money just because they said so. There's literally no law in the entire world that says, Claire Kellums, you can't make $1 million. There's no law. There's no law that says you can't make $1 million. If you think about it, sit back and think about it just for a minute. If someone has ever said, "Oh, you'll never make that kind of money doing that. Oh, you'll never make anything of yourself doing that. Oh, you're going to get into that, that job. Why? That's not going to make any money." There is literally no law in the entire world that says you can't. So take a step back and really think about that and really sit with that mindset for a minute. If you have always wanted to, I don't know, be a teacher, and someone says, "Oh, you can't be a teacher. You don't know how to teach. You don't know how to lead. You're not, XYZ." Who says? Who literally says you can't do that? If that is your dream and that's what you want to do, who literally has the authority to say you can't do that? No one. So if you want to quit that job, if you want to quit that or leave that relationship, do it. It's your life. This is your life. You get one life. Don't hesitate to make those decisions that benefit you and that really call to your soul. And it doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 60, 90. It's never too late to start, and it's never too early to start. The time is now. If you really have this calling and if you really have this drive to do whatever it is you want to do in this moment right now, now is the time. Just do it. Just put it out there. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have, a professional website or professional contracts or professional this or that or merchandise or whatever. Just put it out there, whatever it is. Even if all you have is your name, one service, one offering, whatever it is, just put it out there. You never know who it's going to reach, and you never know who will be so impacted by what you put out there. And I think a lot of people, myself included, get hung up on the, I want it to be big. I want it to have this. I want to make, I want all of these things. I want it right now. But we ignore the steps to get there. That's something that I have really struggled with myself is, okay, I want to do this. I want to do it all right now. I want to have it all right now. But I don't take the time sometimes to really just sit back and focus on the little baby steps that will get me there. And it's those baby steps that lead to greatness. And I think that goes ignored so often. Taking those big leaps of faith, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. And it's needed, and I think honestly, every baby step is a big leap of faith. If you really think about it, every single thing you do, it is a big step. You may not see it in that moment, but looking back, you're like, holy crap, look where I am today. A year ago, A year ago today, this wasn't even on my mind. Now, granted, I was in the depths of having a 6-month-old, but having a podcast, expressing myself, like putting myself out there into the world. Oh my God, a year ago would have literally probably passed out and like locked herself in a closet and just cried for days on end because I would have been so terrified that anyone would have known what I was doing. And now people that I know in the community are like following me on Instagram, and like, honestly, how cool is that I can feel comfortable enough to put myself out there and to really step into who I truly am. And I don't have to hide that part of myself anymore. And it's not that like anyone was stopping me. It was just me who was stopping me. Honestly, I was just so scared. But now I'm in this place where I feel so freeing to have put myself out there and to have done the thing, because I don't have to hide anymore who I felt I truly was and who I am, like I truly am. And so this time right now, like this season of change really is such a beautiful moment to put yourself out there in whatever way you feel and whatever way you feel serves you best, because everything is there's so much reward in it, and you may not see it right away, and that's okay. And a lot of times it gets really scary really fast when you first make that big step or take that big step, but that's the universe's way of kind of preparing you for the big thing that you are asking for. And a lot of the times when you are ready to step into that change, a lot of the times really scary things will happen kind of out of nowhere. And it really is, it's the universe's way of essentially allowing the shedding or the quote unquote death of your old self so you can step into your new self. I had to go through, really shedding and really looking at how I used to think and how I used to feel about certain beliefs or certain, whoever. I really had to look at myself and see what was serving me and what wasn't. And when I tell you that for a split second there, I was in a literal dumpster fire and everything felt like it was going completely so terribly wrong. And I was like, what is happening? How is this happening? Like, I'm finally taking the steps towards like where I want to be in life and who I want to be in life. Why is everything a mother freaking dumpster fire right now? And looking back on it now, it really was just how I was shedding those old beliefs, those old, tendencies and that old self. And so I could really fully step into who I want to be going forward. And that is so incredibly important, to take those steps, and don't be afraid when big scary things come up. Don't run. Don't be afraid of that. It's happening for a reason. Just flow with it, as hard as it is. And it's going to be really, really hard for some people. It really, truly is. But just know that it's coming. If you are in that moment in your life where you're like, this is my time. I'm going to step into this journey. I'm going into this healing journey. I'm doing it. Please know that it might get a little bumpy. It's going to get a little bumpy. And this is where I really, truly recommend that if you are someone who is on their healing journey or starting out on their healing journey or spiritual journey or whatever it may be, please know you're going to have to look inward, and you're going to have to come face to face with a lot of things you didn't want to face. And it's very hard to do. I'm not going to lie. It's hard, and it's at times scary, and it's really unsettling sometimes to look inward on those traumas or on those things that had happened, those experiences that really scared you or that really affected you. But to go forward, you have to face those things, and it's scary. And I really encourage you to, one, take your time doing it. This is not something that needs to be rushed at all. This is something that really needs to be focused on and really just take your time. And this is, again, where I recommend some people may feel comfortable doing this themselves or with a trusted friend or family member, but I will always be an advocate and I will always recommend that one-on-one attention with a licensed professional of some nature, whether that be, a therapist, a counselor, whatever it may be, a trusted friend, or a family member even. But a licensed professional can be someone who can really help you help you identify and help you understand, I guess is what I'm trying to say, what you may be experiencing. I had a therapist for, 6 or 7 years, and truly, I wouldn't be where I am today without her. She helped me in so many ways that I didn't even realize at the time she was doing. Here I thought, I loved my therapist. She was just amazing. She left for a different job, but I miss her dearly. But she, in that moment when I was in the thick of it, when I was going to sessions, I really was just talking to her, and she just let me talk. And, we did the EMDR training, the EMDR therapy, the tappers and stuff. But, a lot of the times I was just talking to her and just explaining and sharing with her what was going on in my life, whatever it may be. And I didn't realize at the time, looking back now, I'm like, holy cow. She gave me so many beautiful foundational tools for me to use in my daily life that I didn't even realize, one, I hadn't and were using, and two, would impact me in such a monumental way. Here I thought I was just talking to this woman about, whatever. But, it was the little things she gave me. And I noticed I would start going home, and when something would come up at home, I would be like, okay, what would my counselor say in this moment? What would she say in this moment? And I started doing that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is working. And so I started doing it a little more and a little more. And then I started setting boundaries here and there. And slowly and surely, it took those little steps. But the tools that she gave me, holy crap, they're what I use every single day. They're how I navigated that healing journey. They're how I really came to realize who I am as a person and who I want to be as a person, and the mom I want to be, the wife I want to be, the sister I want to be. I had no idea how impactful she would be for me. And that's why I really recommend having that one-on-one service with a licensed professional, because there were a lot of things that came up for me that I didn't understand why they were happening. And she was really good at being able to explain things to me in a way that I would understand and I would resonate with. So I know I just kind of really detoured on a different path there, but I really, really think that it's really important to, if you feel that you are someone who may need it, reach out to a licensed professional. They can, and find the one that best suits you, because they can be so monumental on your journey, on your healing journey, and just in life in general. Just having someone to talk to who is completely unbiased. It's a beautiful thing. So I know I got really really sidetracked there, but just to kind of bring it all in and just kind of summarize this episode. Like I said, this is the time for change. This is the time for creation. And this is the time for you to step into that power and that light and whatever it is that you have always wanted to do and have always wanted to be. And if you don't know, just take the time to sit with yourself and think, okay, like, what do I like to do on a day's time? Maybe I really like to garden. My sister is a perfect example of this. My sister loves flowers and she loves gardening. And I swear she, in another lifetime, she did something crazy with flowers and just gardening in general. I don't know what she did, but she's very talented with flowers. And I swear she has a literal gift with flowers. It's really unique and it's really beautiful. And so again, this is just a time for you to really look inward and look at what really serves you and suits you and what you want to create in this lifetime. Don't be afraid of just putting something out there and just starting. Don't be afraid of that, because you're always going to be facing that day that you're going to have to, that you're going to want to put something out there and you're going to want to create something. And all you're doing is wasting precious time. So don't be afraid to just put it out there and just to see what happens, and then you can always fine tune it and tweak it from there. But just get really clear and really, put a lot of positive energy into whatever it is you're creating, and really sit with it and really be intentional with it and really be proud of it more than anything. For the love of God, be so proud of it, because it is your creation. It is a literal creation of you. So say you're putting that course out for, a content creator or whatever it is that you've been really scared to do and you want to do it and you're finally doing it. Put it out there and be so proud of it, because it literally directly reflects you as a person and your magic that you bring into this world. And we are all brought here with these very specific, unique, beautiful gifts that we have. And my specific gift looks different than your specific gift. That doesn't mean mediumship. I mean, what I was born to do and be is going to be different than what Sally's is going to be, and there's so much beauty in that. Don't be afraid to be different. That's something that I've had to drive home myself. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to create something that no one else has created, because there is a reason you are creating it. You never know when someone's going to see that unique thing that you put out there that no one else has done and think, oh my gosh, that's something I've always felt like resonated with me, and this person did it, and now this gives me encouragement to do something unique myself. So you never know the impact, and you never know the audience it will reach in such a beautiful way until you put yourself out there. So be empowered, be beautiful, be kind, be all of the things, but most importantly, believe in yourself and be the person that you have always wanted to be. So I know I kind of went all over the place, but it was really coming through really fast. And a lot of the times when I'm giving readings or when I am connected, with spirit or the universe or source or whatever you want to call and resonates with you, I start talking very quickly because the information comes through so fast, and that's just how I am. So I know I was kind of going all over the place, but I know if you're listening to this podcast episode, no matter if it's today or if it's 5 years from now, you'll listen to it at the time you need to listen to it, and you'll listen to it at the time that resonates with you. And if you don't resonate with this podcast, then so be it. It doesn't have to be. It can be whatever you need it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and leave now. I promise this is the last time I'm going to say it. So I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day, wherever you are in time and space, and stay well, friends. Did you love this episode of the Ultra Aligned podcast? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could leave a glowing review and 5 stars. Your support helps this podcast reach even more people who are ready to step into their light. Have questions or suggestions for topics you'd like me to dive into? I'd love to hear from you. Just shoot me an email at theultraalignedpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for sharing. I love you all. I'll see you next time on the Ultra Aligned Podcast.